All right, I'm Jim Barry, and this is Miami Life, a show that looks at the unique issues and people that make this community what it is. While here in South Florida, we've got the sun. We've got warm weather. Sounds like a perfect place for serious cycling. But is it? From early morning to early evening, bike riders love to hit the road, but they don't always get love from motorists. We lead things off today with a closer look at this war of the road. Recreational cycling in Miami is huge.
Well, you have the opportunity to make new friendships, and there's a sense of freedom when you're riding.
Miami is considered one of the world's most scenic bike cities. Rachel Lasada of Max Cycle in South Miami says business is booming because of the cycling craze.
We've seen a lot of new customers. Miami has a very low barrier to entry for cycling, meaning the terrain is very gentle. We don't have any mountains, any hills. It's flat. Our road quality is very good.
Since traffic can be so bad in Miami, the fact so many people are on their bikes should be a good thing. But not everyone's happy about it. Tensions can run high between drivers and cyclists on South Florida streets.
Un tipo que no es un racing. Míralo por allá con su bike lane.
Cyclists want to enjoy their ride, and drivers just want to get where they're going. Why can't we all just get along?
We live in a really high-stress, kind of fast-paced city where there's a lot of things happening all the time and a lot of demands. And I think there's a lot of lack of compassion in general between people.
It seems every cyclist with a spandex kit has a story or two about an encounter with an angry Miami driver.
I've had plenty of ugly encounters. I've had a beer can chucked at my head on Rickenbacker Causeway. I've had change thrown at me. I've had garbage thrown out the window at me. I've been run off the road a couple times. And it's a lot of times it's unprovoked type road rage.
One driver follow the peloton, get in front of the peloton, and then brake on purpose to see if we were going to crash into the back of him.
People aren't patient. People are distracted when they're driving, and that's what causes injuries and sometimes fatalities.
Sue Kawalerski of Miami-Dade County's Bike 305 initiative also notes that a lot of people don't know Florida's bike laws.
A lot of times when a cyclist will be riding in the road, motorists will honk at them, telling them to get on the sidewalk. Little does that motorist know that a bicycle in the state of Florida is considered a vehicle, and we've got the right to the road just like a car.
But the war of the road is one-sided. When it's car versus bike, the car always wins. Miami is one of the most dangerous places to bike in America. It ranked 5th in the nation for fatal bike accidents, according to the League of American Cyclists. In 2022, 2 cyclists died after being hit by an SUV on Key Biscayne. Its Rickenbacker Causeway is ground zero for cycling in South Florida, a popular path for riders, but also dangerous, even with its dedicated green bike lanes. Part of the problem? Some riders there don't stay in those lanes and disrupt traffic.
There's a lot of riders or cyclists that do follow the rules of the road, okay? But there's also riders that don't follow the rules of the road. And that also ignites a little bit of the anger of a driver on a car when they see a cyclist doing the wrong thing.
But drivers, too, should sometimes look in the mirror.
The cyclist also doesn't have fault that maybe you woke up 10 minutes later, left home a little bit later, and all of a sudden it's the cyclist's fault that you're not going to make it to work or to a place you have to be. We have to work with each other in order to make it safer.
All right, for a deep dive on the cycling issue, we are joined by a lady you saw in that story, Sue Kawalerski. She is the manager for Miami-Dade County's Bike 305. And Sue, I saw something about our neighbors to the north, Boca Raton. They have 84 miles of bike paths. Does Broward, Miami-Dade, do they come close to that?
Not yet.
but we're trying. You know, I work for the Parks Department, so we're responsible for all the off-road trails in Miami-Dade County, and we have miles, dozens of miles of off-road paved trails for cyclists. But we're still working with the Transportation Department on the roads, trying to get specifically green bike lanes, and we're nowhere near there yet.
Yeah, it seems to me that really is a road design issue, isn't it? Because we barely have enough road for all the cars, let alone added space for the bikes, correct?
That is absolutely correct. And as developments are going up, you're noticing they're building them right up to the roadway, so the space is getting even more confined for both drivers and for cyclists. And now with micromobility, with the scooters, with the electric bikes, and all these other new forms of transportation, it's getting pretty hairy out there, finding the right space and a safe space to ride a bicycle.
So how do we fix this?
Well, you know what? It takes the will of the people, literally, to let their elected officials know that they really want bike lanes, protected bike lanes, specifically in Miami-Dade County. Elected officials will pay attention to large groups of people, especially during the election cycle. So I encourage anyone that likes to ride a bicycle but doesn't feel safe to contact their elected official or vote for the people that will provide the money or find the funding sources to provide safe spaces for cyclists.
We don't just have a lot of roads, we have a lot of open roads and people really driving fast. Does that contribute to the issue?
Of course it does. You know, you take speed and distracted driving, and that is a recipe for disaster. Especially for a vulnerable road user, cyclists are vulnerable. We have nothing to protect us except maybe, in a place or two, a white line in the road to separate us from a speeding car, let alone a distracted driver. In fact, most of the fatalities happened because not only of the speed, but people were texting while they were driving, or they were under the influence of something and went into a bike lane.
What can cyclists do? Can they wear more reflective clothing, brighter clothing, helmets? What can they do?
Yeah, of course. You know, you're seeing a lot of people now wearing black on bicycles. That's not really a great idea, either for the heat or for visibility. So absolutely, lights on bikes specifically when you're riding from dusk to dawn. That's a very good idea. Not only a good idea, but a Florida law. Yeah. Lights are very important, reflective clothing. And most importantly, cyclists have to be very aware of their surroundings. There are some cyclists you see with earbuds on, they're listening to music.
Not a good idea.
And not a good idea, and they can't hear a passing car. Or somebody that wants to pass them on a bicycle, and all of a sudden they're taking up a lane and 2 lanes just to get through the traffic. Yeah. So not a good idea.
Yeah, well, I certainly hope that we get this solved. My wife loves to bike ride, but she only goes to the beaches because she knows there's no cars over there and she feels safe there. And so maybe that's a start in the right direction. We get more just dedicated spaces for bikes only.
Right, exactly. And like I said, the Miami-Dade County Parks Department is making every effort to build more trails. The Ludlam Trail is a great example. Hopefully one day that'll be open. It connects 5 schools. It connects to the Underline, which is now slowly rolling out. The Underline is a fantastic venue for cyclists. And in fact, there's a dedicated lane for cyclists on the Underline. So by next year, that whole thing should be open. 10 miles of freedom for cyclists.
Maybe then I'll get on the bike. I'll be a little more brave. Sue, thanks so much. Sue Kowalewski from Bike 305. And we want to let you know, by the way, that on May 15th at 7 p.m., the Bike 305 Ride of Silence is taking part in Key Biscayne. It's part of a worldwide ride that honors cyclists who have been killed or hurt on public roads. All right, now let's turn to another hot topic in South Florida, marijuana. A few weeks ago, Miami Life showed you the slew of cannabis stores lining Biscayne Boulevard. Business could soon be booming at those shops and others. Florida Supreme Court ruled the question of legalizing recreational pot will be on the ballot this November, and it could create the state's next huge industry. A serious lobbying effort is expected by the cannabis industry to push for recreational use. Those in favor say if it passes, the state of Florida could get a huge financial windfall from sales tax revenue and more dispensaries popping up all across the state. While some see the issue of recreational pot being politically polarizing, the head of one cannabis company sees otherwise.
I believe that cannabis legalization is one of the few bipartisan issues that we see in our country, where you have people from all walks of political life that have identified and seen that ultimately we are better off having cannabis in a regulated market where it can be taxed, regulated, and we ultimately bring it above ground.
Several dispensaries have already popped up along Biscayne Boulevard in Northwest Miami-Dade, and today some of the customers leaving them said they are all in favor of recreational pot being legalized here.
I'm excited about it. It gives opportunities for more jobs. It gives, more growers opportunities to be able to go out there and show their products. Medical marijuana has helped me a lot.
It's great. I think it's an innocent drug, man. The worst you're going to do is eat all the food in your refrigerator.
That's one way to look at it. Well, 60% of voters would have to vote yes for this to become legal. Experts say if the initiative passes, Florida could become one of the biggest markets for legalized pot in the country. Right up next, it is one of the worst things about social media, the online troll. So why do some people choose to be abusive online? Experts weigh in. And still coming up, the pickleball phenomenon. Now, I'll admit, I'm not much of a fan, but I decided to check it out to find out what I think now when Miami Life comes back. Welcome back. The two biggest superstars in women's college hoops faced off this week in an epic showdown. Iowa and Caitlin Clark beat LSU and Angel Reese to reach the Final Four. For Clark, it avenged a loss in last year's title game. And for Reese, well, the loss capped a bittersweet season. Ever since leading LSU to the national title last season with her clutch play and also her bold demeanor, Reese has been a target for online trolls. During her post-game press conference, she got very emotional as she talked about the toll that it took on her.
I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I've stood strong every single time. And I just try to stand strong for my teammates because I don't want them to see me down and not be there for them. So I just want them to always just know I'm still a human. All this has happened since I won the national championship, and I said the other day I haven't had peace since then. And it sucks, but I still wouldn't change. I wouldn't change anything, and I would still sit here and say I'm unapologetically me. I'm gonna always leave that mark and be who I am.
Well, for famous athletes and other celebrities, online abuse is a sad reality. There seems to be an entire subculture on the internet devoted to spewing negativity aimed at people they don't even know. We saw the results of such behavior when Princess Kate Middleton felt compelled to reveal that she was battling cancer due to relentless criticism and speculation on social media. Why do these so-called keyboard warriors lash out the way they do? And how can you tune out the online hate? Here's CBS News Miami's Lauren Pastrana.
I'm baffled at the amount of people who have really mean, ridiculous things to say in my comment section on all my videos.
Yo, I'm a person. Content creators, we read your comments.
Somebody commented the other day, I hate you and your mother and your grandmother, and you all should die.
They're called keyboard warriors, people who post online in an aggressive or abusive manner, often without revealing their own identity.
You don't have to have a profile photo. Your username can be anything. And so there's no way to trace it back to you.
Genesis Gomez is a licensed mental health counselor. She says in some cases, commenters who push the boundaries of politeness might share some traits of narcissism.
As humans, we like attention. We like validation. If we leave a very polarizing type of comment, that's going to get a lot of engagement. People are going to like it. People are going to stitch it. People are going to talk about it. People are going to continue to comment, and I'm going to engage in this dialogue or war online. And I am going to be getting that attention need met that I am not getting in my day-to-day life.
It can be such a terrible, crazy place, but it also can be such a powerful, incredible place. And on social media, people just hide behind their keyboards.
Montana Tucker is a dancer, singer, and content creator with more than 9 million TikTok followers, 3 million Instagram followers, and almost 800,000 YouTube subscribers. She was born and raised in Boca Raton, but now splits her time between South Florida and LA. We met her recently at Goodman Jewish Family Services ahead of an event focused on combating hate online and in person, specifically anti-Semitism.
I hope with my content that people can come to my page and they can feel like they're learning something, but they can also feel love. I talk about anti-Semitism, but I also talk about combating all forms of hate.
She used to post mostly fun, dancing videos, but last year she started sharing more about her grandparents who survived the Holocaust, even creating a docuseries.
the last time like my grandma saw her mom is like a really intense feeling for me.
After the events of October 7th in Israel, her content shifted. She was worried it would not find the right audience at first, but she says the overall response has been positive.
If I have a platform and I don't use it for good and use it for what I want to do, then what am I doing with it?
But taking a stand isn't always well received. Recently, larger, beloved creators with millions of followers announced social media breaks due to the barrage of nasty comments they get on a daily basis. Montana says the negativity can hurt, but she usually chooses to ignore it.
What I do on Instagram, I block, there's a filter, which I hope everyone that is watching this knows about this. You can block certain words from your comments. Kids are getting extremely bullied and a lot of hate online, and they need to be taking this more seriously in the schools. The parents need to be speaking up and doing more.
The DeSantis administration has moved to ban social media accounts for children younger than 14 and require parental permission for 14 and 15-year-olds. No matter your age, experts say it's crucial to stay connected to reality.
It's really important to have like a good network of face-to-face friends, peers, people that really know you, that understand you, and that can be supportive.
And before you even think of saying something mean online, remember, negative comments don't just hurt the recipient. Sometimes it can cost the poster as well, with more and more organizations instituting no-tolerance policies against online bullying. Lauren Pastrana, CBS News, Miami.
Lauren, thanks. All right, still to come, pickleball. I swapped my tennis racket for a pickleball paddle and decided to give the sport a try. Wait, hold up. Did I just call pickleball a sport? Am I actually a pickler now? Miami Life is coming right back. All right, that clacking noise you could be hearing in Miami-Dade and Broward might not be ducks in a pond, but pickleball. It has become the newest rage, so much so that even this tennis snob had to take a closer look to see if he could feel the pickleball thrill. One of my favorite events in South Florida is the Miami Open tennis tournament. So imagine my horror when I saw that one court had been invaded by pickleball. While the pickleball pros put on a clinic, I crashed the party to sneer. How would you convince a tennis snob like me to give this a shot?
Like people? Yeah. And this is it. You can play this till you're 90. You can play with anybody. You can have a good time. You can shoot the breeze.
It soon became painfully clear that there is a whole legion of people who love this sport. People like Debbie Coleman of Coral Springs, a shameless pickleball addict who plays every day.
Tennis is a beautiful game. It's an amazing game. Yes. And I have a lot of respect for tennis. Yes. And this is not tennis. It'll never be the Miami Open. But at the same time, it brings so many people out. People who would never exercise or socialize for that matter. And it gets them out on the court and have fun and exercise and social. So that's worth supporting, right?
Yeah, I guess you got a point there. While learning tennis takes time, money, and practice, pickleball lovers say someone can dive in and be reasonably good in no time. Even Miami Dolphins' Zach Sealer came out to this clinic and seemed hooked. Debbie got me up to speed pretty quickly.
That's awesome.
I might have a future.
So can you go maybe pickleball?
Okay, maybe. Give it a maybe now. Soon, I was being indoctrinated with the virtues and values of pickleball.
Points.
Tell me.
One being that it's very easy to pick up and learn. Two, it's easy on the body.
Boom.
Three, it's very social and fun.
Boom.
And four, all ages can play. That's it.
The pickleball craze has not occurred without a little controversy. Getting the inactive active again has led to some injuries, and some communities have rebelled against the noise that a cluster of pickleball courts can create.
Like, I feel bad for the people that live around because we got 100 cars parked. We got houses around 9:30 at night. You're still hearing this and people carousing. But unfortunately, I hate to say it, that's not going to change.
It surely won't when tennis players keep jumping on the pickleball bandwagon. Former tennis pro Jack Sock is now on the pickleball tour.
It's bringing more people in because you pick this up and you see that you can do it because it's easier to pick up for especially a young kid. Yeah. You can hit the ball a little easier, a little longer, and then, okay, now I see that I'm good at something with a paddle. Now let me try tennis.
And Miami Open tennis tournament director James Blake is also a convert. He even knows pickleball strategy.
You drop it in the kitchen, I can't hurt you. In the kitchen, that's it, the non-volley zones. If I drop one short like that, you can't hurt me, but if one goes high, then I can put that away.
I explained to him that when my coworker and fellow tennis purist Elliot Rodriguez put me on blast about my resistance to pickleball, it prompted me to pick this up to teach Elliot a lesson.
There you go.
Look at that.
There you go.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Nice.
Look at that.
You're getting it. Elliot's going to be in trouble. You're going to be all over Elliot.
But against a former top 10 tennis pro like Blake, I figured my only shot was to stack the odds in my favor in the first and perhaps last tennis versus pickleball match in history.
Where can I hit it? Let's see.
Hit it in there. I got you.
Anywhere?
Oh, I missed it. All right, 15 left.
This is about the only way I'd have a chance against a guy like him.
All right, now I got
Oh!
Yeah! All right, see, now I got the hang of it.
I didn't want to have to go street on James, okay? He's a really nice guy, but it looks like I'm going to have to do that. Oh, shoot!
Thanks a lot. That was fun.
That was fun, actually, yeah.
That's a good time.
So it does kind of translate.
It does.
James Blake, a good sport and a very nice guy, and still a terrific guy with the racket or the paddle, whatever's in his hand. We'll be right back and share some comments from you about Miami life when we come right back. Well, that does it for this week's Miami Life. Please keep those comments and all that feedback coming. Send it to cbsmiami@cbs.com. You can also drop your comments on YouTube. We'll check it every week. See you every Thursday for Miami Life at 6:30 on the stream and 10 p.m. on TV 33. I'm Jim Barry.